And I need to unpack all this candy that I brought home. Oh, hello everyone. Konnichiwa. My name is Hikiko and I just got back from a month-long trip in Japan. A lot has changed since the first time I uploaded a Japan travel vlog on the channel. I was so young and innocent back then. That was pre-pandemic Hikiko. Now we're just in like punished Hikiko, grizzled, weather-worn. But I decided sometime around the end of December, I felt just a gut feeling. When I get a gut feeling, I tend to listen to it, but I had a gut feeling that if I didn't take this opportunity to go over to Japan, I might not get one for a while. And so even since like I started this video, a lot has changed in like 24 hours. But we're gonna keep things positive. I wanna talk about the things I saw, the things I did, and what has changed since the last time I've been over in Japan. Also, if you're a gamer like yours truly, you might get something out of this. So stick around. Let's talk about things I did in Japan. So the hardest decision that any gamer is going to make when they go on a big trip is what systems am I bringing with me? And for me, it was something that I could either carry in my backpack or in my pocket. So for my pocket, I brought along my blue, this is a Japanese PS Vita. This is a 2000 model. I wanted to sit and play it because I've got all my PlayStation 1 games on here and my Vita library as well. And then I also wanted something that was a little bit more powerful and versatile. I had to bring my Steam Deck with me. I had been playing a file of a Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which had just launched in that same month. Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii had so much representation over in Japan, so I took as many photos as I could of all the displays and stuff because they're gonna throw that shit away, and that's just kind of like a record. That's my record onto the world that this game existed and was advertised. So I traveled out to Shinjuku, to the home of Kamurocho. If you've ever played a Yakuza game, you'll be able to navigate the city streets of Shinjuku just fine. To feel more in touch with the spirit of the Yakuza games, I went to the batting cages over in Shinjuku where I found this Goro Majima special vending machine. They have multiple all throughout Shinjuku. They have different characters, but I wanted the Majima vending machine and I went over to it and I paid my respects. And I got myself this keychain which has Majima on it, and it also has like the big awning for Kamurocho there. And while I was at the batting cages, I got to hit a few. I didn't hit too many. I'm not great at baseball, but I did it. I went and I did it, and I lived the Yakuza life for a little bit. I rented a house. It was nothing like huge or anything like that. It was just like a 2-floor situation, like kind of a studio situation, like where there was a kitchen and all the amenities on the bottom floor, and on the top floor was a tatami room where I lived on a straw mat situation with futons, and simple, humble life. In my past vacations in Japan, I did a lot of more of the tourist trap kind of things, and a good rule of thumb regarding Japan travel or any travel is that if you've seen any area advertised on TikTok or Instagram or any just big influencer and it's got millions of views, that spot is gone. It is not viable for the average traveler to visit because it's going to be packed. I guess an easy recommendation, if you're ever in Japan and you want a nice place to go to Nara Park. Nara is kind of my happy place. It's the deer park where all the shika are, and you buy these stacks of senbei. Now, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm gonna let you know, those deer don't mess around. When they smell or notice you have those senbei, they start coordinating. So I was over in Nara and I bought 5 stacks of cookies of the Shika Senbei. My goal was to spend an entire afternoon just feeding whatever random deer I saw, you know, and just enjoying the nice day. It was like a nice like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and it didn't go down that way. No, they're supposed to just bow, okay? The deer bow, and then you're supposed to give them a senbei. And this one bowed, but I was not fast enough to give them the senbei. And he started headbutting me, trying to get me to drop the senbei in my hand. And I was like, okay, here you go. I gave him one, and I was like, enough. You're supposed to put your hands out. Like, okay, all done. He wasn't having it. He knew I had more. He knew I had a whole plastic bag full of them. So what he ends up doing is this deer comes over, it headbutts me in the stomach, and then it bites my thigh. And I was wearing pants at the time, so it didn't bite all the way through, but it bit me enough to pinch me and leave a bruise. And I was just like, ah!
Hey, don't bite. Okay.
There were like 2 or 3 other deer in this pack. This little pack was like surrounding me. So this guy was like trying to bite me and be aggressive, and then his buddy was gonna come up behind me and steal all my cookies. So what I ended up doing is I was just throwing the senbei. I just kind of like tossed him as a distraction, and then I just started just running down the park. So it was a much different experience than the first time I went to Nara, but I love it. That whole area, the temples in Nara, it's a bit of a tourist trap a little bit, but I love that city so much, and I love the deer culture. I don't know, deer are kind of like a good luck symbol for me.
Hey, don't bite.
So during my visit to Japan, one of my all-time favorite game series was celebrating an anniversary and a launch special, and that series is Suikoden. This is a little commission portrait of the hero Tyr McDowell from the first game. He's gonna go in the back somewhere on the set, haven't decided, but it was celebrating its launch. And one of my traditions when I go over to Japan is I pick up a copy of Weekly Famitsu so I can commemorate my time there, and this one had Suikoden on it with the hero and Gremio right there. There's really good interviews. I translated some of these interviews in here, which talked about like how they remade and redrew all the character portraits and all the HD upgrades and what the original like development was like. This was one of those games that I always told my friends and tried to get them into, but I guess it was too weird and Japanese for them. But this is a phenomenal series, and I was like, while I'm over here, I gotta support it. I can't not buy Suikoden while I'm over here. Plus the exchange rate was really good. So I went to a big camera store, which is like a big electronics retailer. I guess I would compare them to Best Buy, but they had a big display for Suikoden 1 and 2 HD. And I saw it, and they were playing a trailer of the game, and there was the music swelling, and so I got it. The problem was I did not bring my Nintendo Switch with me on this trip. I didn't want to like overpack because I'd be traveling from all different parts of the island, and the more stuff you lug around, the worse it gets. So I went to a Soft Map Amusements, which is also another electronic retailer, and I bought myself a Switch Lite. It was my first time ever holding a Switch Lite and owning one, but it was well under $100. It was just like 10,000 yen, which is like 70 something dollars. It was in immaculate condition. This one was manufactured in 2023. Felt like it was new out of the box. Came with the charger. So I bought this, and I bought Suikoden, and I challenged myself to beat Suikoden during my trip. And so when I had downtime and I was home and I was tired from walking, or if I was on a train, I did like the locals do. Well, let me tell you, the Switch Lite is one of the most favored systems that I saw on the trains in the city. I actually saw a dude bust one out, and he was just like playing like Unicorn Overlord and just like having like a narcoleptic episode. So he just like, you know, do a mission, zonk out, new station, oh, and then he'd go back and do another mission. And I looked at him And I said, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be that guy falling asleep on the train. Also, while I was over there, there was a pop-up bar where they had Suikoden themed drinks there, and they were all like $7 or $8 a drink. And while I love Suikoden, I'm not much of a drinker, so I took some photos. If you bought a drink, you got a business card, and I thought that was kind of cool. But I was surprised. Suikoden has a huge representation in Japan, and I really hope that HD collection does well. When I was at Big Camera, not only was I buying Suikoden, but I noticed in the corner of the store they had Simple Series games. That's right, the Simple Series is still alive and well in 2025. There are 4 volumes on the Nintendo Switch. These were released on the eShop in North America and other territories, but they got physical, region-free copies, all with English on them, on the Switch, and they were priced as advertised. They were only 2,000 yen a piece, which, is supposed to be the equivalent of $20. But I spent about, I don't know, maybe $12 or $11 on each one of these. So I got 4 brand new Nintendo Switch Simple Series games. This one is a board game pack. It has like Mahjong and Shogi on it, and Othello, which I do love. This one, Volume 2, is all your card games, Solitaire, Texas Hold'em, and Blackjack and all that. These 2 are the most interesting. So this one is like
the bass fishing,
which is just like some janky bass fishing game with beautiful anime girls giving you words of encouragement. What's not to love about that? And then the last one I feel is the most interesting one. There's like I believe this is called the Escape Room. This is an escape room kind of game, which has like this ominous, like, not Freddy Fazbear on the cover there. And it's all in English, and I've seen some of the scenarios, and they're absolutely wacky. I can't wait to dig into this one. One thing I found really helpful when hunting for new games in Japan, when I went to Big Camera, they had the good decency to put labels on every Nintendo Switch game to designate that if it had other languages other than Japanese, such as English or Chinese. So if they had English on the cart, there would be a sticker that said English with a circle for yes, or a big X for EA, no. And so when I went to Vic, I was just like going through all the Nintendo Switch games, seeing if there was any region exclusives that it also included English. And I found that most all the first-party Nintendo games were not only cheaper than their US counterparts, but they had multiple languages on them, including English. So I went out and I bought some of my favorite games that are way too expensive in North America over here in Japan. So I paid about, we'll say, 3,900 yen for Pikmin 1 and 2 here. I paid like about $25 US for this game that cost $50, I think, US. Same thing with Princess Peach Showtime. I wasn't about to, drop $60 on this in US. For $25, I bit the bullet. I finally got that dang Smiling Man game. I only paid like $40 US. $40 US. This did not come out with the collector's edition in North America. This is like the 3rd game in the Famicom Detective Clove series. The first 2 games didn't even get a US release on cartridge at all. So over here in Japan, not only are they selling a collector's edition, which comes with a whole bunch of cool stuff. Let's show off some cool stuff here. So not only it comes with a physical game and an art book, but if we dig a little deeper here, it comes with a little Smiling Man paper bag right here. It comes with a little, so I had to get it. I had to get it when I saw that. But I picked this up for about $40 US, and I don't even think you can get the base game of Emio the Smiling Man in North America for $40. The digital base only game. This had English on it, and I'm loving it so far. I'm like 5 chapters in. So excited to have this.
探偵っていうのはお前さんかい。
ある男のことを調べてもらえんか。
先輩、あの紙袋の鑑定結果が出ました。
I had to get this Bayonetta. I believe this is the Trinity Masquerade Edition. This is like the biggest thing that I shoved into my suitcase, but it had to come home with me because I only paid $20 for Bayonetta 3 in English. Comes with a big art book, a physical game, and this display box, all right? You gotta love it, gotta show it off. This is still a Nintendo Switch exclusive, so it was one I did not own. I was gonna get it, but now I had no excuse for $20. And on the sticker, the reason why it was so cheap was because the box had like a tiny dent in it. Like one of the corners right here. One of the corners right here had like that tiny little dent was the reason why the clerk said, yeah, that's why it's discounted. This dent here, this little wrinkle right here, so you knocked off like $40, $50 off of it? Hell yeah. So I scooped that up. Love it. Love Japan. I love Japan. Now, since the first time I visited Japan, the retro gaming market has exploded in price. Things are more expensive than they've ever been. And that's not a Japan exclusive thing. That's happened because of the pandemic. It just caused this major bubble in the retro market. I don't know when it's gonna pop. But I did not buy too many retro games. Retro games, I guess nowadays are like even extending to the PlayStation 2 era and PS3. So the things I did buy were cheap and simple. So let's start off. I'll show you my stack here. Let's get a good stack going, shall we? I got Brave Fencer Musashi, which is made by the same team that did Threads of Fate. Brave Fencer Musashi was only 200 yen. You want to know why? It's because Japan has high standards for their used game market. If it's missing something, there's a dent in the box, deep discounts, and that's where I come in. So this one actually came with both discs, like there's like a square soft preview disc, and then the actual game, which has an amazing silhouette of Musashi there. This game is pretty expensive nowadays in the US, and unfortunately I don't own an actual copy until now. So I got it for 200 yen, which is less than $1. It's just like a little bit over $1 US, so I couldn't pass it up. I went to a lot of secondhand stores. Now, if you want to find some good gaming deals, finding a secondhand thrift shop, you know, outside of the major cities is where you're going to get the best deals. So I got an exclusive. You might recognize this if you're a big Yakuza fan. This is Yakuza Kenzan. It's the first samurai game in the series. Wasn't released in North America. Still hasn't got localized. Ishin did, but not Kenzan. And I only paid 110 yen. Less than $1. Less than $1 for this. There's actually a translation guide out there, so it's still playable. You can follow this guy's guide online and get through it just fine. And for 110 yen, of course I'm gonna get it. I got Biohazard, the Dark Side Chronicles. So this is like a special box here. It's kind of shiny. I don't know if that shows up here, but it's got a special custom sleeve on it. You really don't need to know Japanese to play these games. This is a light gun rail shooter kind of thing. And then, of course, I had to get another entry in the Biohazard series. This is a Gun Survivor 2. They had a mode in Code Veronica X, I believe, that was kind of like this, but this is a full-on game that was never released in North America. And the cool part is you can see on the back there, that's Nemesis. Nemesis is one of the secret boss battles in the game. I paid like 900 yen, which is like, you know, about $7. Well worth it. So I went to Super Potato in Osaka, and I looked specifically for Simple Series games. And I asked the clerk over there, I asked him if he had Simple Series games. They actually had a full-on Simple Series section. And now the easiest way from a glance to see if you have a Simple Series games, this like little red tag here, it says Simple 2000 on it. So that's like a quick identifier, and it tells you what the game is. And then of course on the front, they have the Simple 2000 and what volume it is. So I got this one, I believe is The Monkey King, but it's a Journey to the West base game. I thought that was kind of cool. And this here is The Kung Fu, which stars not Jackie Chan. Captain Psychopath asks, do you like pizza?
Do you like pizza?
You thought I wouldn't answer that, but I'm gonna.
It's me. I'm in. I've got all the information I need and more information than you need to know.
I do love pizza. It's one of those things where after, you stay in a country that's not exactly known for pizza long enough, and it's a tad hard to find, especially in like supermarkets and stuff. I did get a craving for pizza. One of the days I was just out and about in a random city in Osaka. I saw Domino's, I was starting to get hungry, and I went over there and I saw their menu, and it is so brilliant, like how many selections you can have. If you're gonna go for any pizza, I'd recommend Domino's. And I tried their potato mayonnaise pizza. Essentially what they had is like French fries, mayonnaise, sausage, cheese, and that was it. It was honestly a very savory kind of pizza, and I loved it. I also tried, they had like an around the world kind of selection where you could try like a slice from all their most popular pies, and it's a good sampler if you want to know what the other things they're offering are. Usually margarita pizzas are kind of favorable over in Japan, but they didn't have like more American toppings, they just had more experimental fun stuff. I will say Domino's was really cheap, the quality was high, and I had it twice on the trip. One of the days I was feeling kind of lazy, and I was like, why not try ordering it through the app and see if they'll deliver it to my house? And they did. I tried almost everything on the menu. I tried their French fries, their mozzarella sticks. They even had like this little tart. It tasted like it came from a respectable pizza joint where there was love and care put in every slice. So thank you for your question. Try Domino's. Daniel asks, what's your favorite Japan exclusive game cover arts? Easy answer. Ico/Eco. The North American box art has this constipated gnome looking Ico on the front of it, and it turned me off of the game for many years, which is sad because it's now like one of my all-time favorites. But the Japanese version of it has this beautiful like sense of scale. So there's like a bridge and shadows in the background, and you see like little Iko and Yorda holding hands and walking across like this deserted landscape, really capturing the atmosphere. Podagon asks, I know it's probably Deadly Premonition, just like it was for me, but which game is your Deathman? Or better, which game made you decide to go deeper into Japanese games? Earthbound is probably my most favorite series out of Japan, the Mother series. And I actually did buy some gachapon based on the Mother series, which I'll show right here. And I have those on my desk, so I can remind myself of Itoi's masterpiece. Zip Davis asks, what was a food that you never ate until you went to Japan and fell in love with? For me, it was yellowtail sashimi. I almost loved every single meal I had. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer. I had a place, my house was located next to a bakery run by a husband and wife. Every day that I could, I went over there and I bought like huge fluffy toast. That's probably my favorite staple. They call it morning foo. It's like a fluffy toast with butter, poached egg or a hard-boiled egg, and some coffee. Like those three things are, you know, a basic luxury for me, I guess. But I did find in the Konbini, I believe it was Lawson, there is this buttered cookie, whipped cream, and strawberry jam little confection that I ate probably 4 or 5 times. I also tried fresh takoyaki out of the stand in Osaka. I'm like next to a train station, like trying to take the train home for the night, and I see that there's a takoyaki stand and there's a master there, and he's got his chopsticks and he's just flipping all these different takoyaki balls. And I look at the menu and it's like 500 yen and you get like 8 takoyaki. I'm like, that is an insane deal. I'm starving. So I bought one and he gave me chopsticks and he put it in a nice styrofoam container. And I'm like, well, once I take this train home, that takoyaki is gonna get all steamed inside of the styrofoam and it's gonna be all mushy. So I wanna eat it here. So he noticed that I was gonna eat that takoyaki here. So this dude just comes out from behind the kitchen and he gets me a foldable table and a foldable chair and he sets it down and he's like, dozo. Yeah, please have a seat. And so I sit down and he's like looking at me and his partner's looking at me and I was like, well, I can't be a bitch. Gotta eat this takoyaki while it's hot. And I take one and I put it in my mouth. And the exterior is kind of like a hush puppy. And that was nice and pleasant. And the moment I bit in, it was like molten lava of like octopus and like it just completely burned the roof of my mouth. And I'm trying to like smile. I'm like, as I'm like burning up, and I couldn't resist. I was just like, I'm burning my mouth. Thankfully there was like a vending machine nearby, and I got like a Coke Zero, and so I'm just like eating these molten hot takoyaki, and I'm chasing it with a Coke Zero, looking like a complete and total coward in front of this guy over here. But that was one of my memorable meals. Indie Chaos asks, did you go to any arcades if you were able to? If so, what games? Also, did you see any OG Xbox games and systems in the stores? Two-parter. Yes, I did go to a couple of game centers. I like the more old school retro arcade style with the candy cabs, the big shiny buttons. You still smell cigarette smoke in the hall. That's my kind of vibe. And yes, I did. I played a few games that I really enjoyed. One of my personal favorites is Knights of the Round, which is like a side-scrolling medieval beat-em-up where you play as 3 members of the Knights of the Round, Lancelot, Percival, and Arthur, and you can upgrade your characters as you go along. The more points you get, your character's armor and strengths and stats go up. They had a 3D Pong game, like a Pong table. It's kind of like, glorified air hockey at that point. But I really thought that was cool. Nice. Ooh. The second part of your question is, did you see any OG Xbox games? No, they are kind of rare. I actually saw them a lot my first time through, but I had a hard time finding almost any Xbox representation this time around. Did that just move? Did that just move? I think it just moved. The Xbox representation in Japan is mostly on the digital storefronts. People are aiming for more of like the Xbox Series S and your Xbox Game Pass on PC and stuff like that. Did that just move again? What is going on here? You stay.
No!
So that about wraps up this Japan vlog. It's been a long time since I've done one of these kind of things. I hope you enjoyed it. We're back with a vengeance. Simple series, deep dives, live streams. Hikiko's back with a vengeance. In his summer wear. Look at him looking like Ichiban. That was intentional. I went to Uniqlo, which is like one of the discount clothing stores, and I said to myself, I'm on vacation, better look the part. So I bought this flowery shirt. I got these like old man golf pants I'm wearing here. I felt relaxed. I felt at ease with the world. And I hope you enjoyed this little trip. Hopefully you found something useful out of this. I've been Hikiko. See you all next time. Summerwear. Ooh, kinky. Kinky Maru.